Hello everyone. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Today, we step into a tender new year in the village as Tu Tieu and Uri celebrate their first Tet as a family of 3 stringing lanterns, blessing the altar and filming a heartfelt scene for their village promo. Then the sky surprises them with spring rain. Do they stop? No. They adapt, laugh, and let the weather finish the story. If you love warm, real moments where love, work, and community meet on camera, please subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. The first firecracker never gets its chance. They are already smiling when the sky breaks. 3 faces turned upward under the veranda eaves as New Year music and laughter spill from the little house. Tu Tieu kisses the baby's forehead. Uri steadies a tray of mandarin leaves and peanut candy. Then the rain arrives with no warning. A soft curtain, washing the dust from the lane and dotting the red couplets with silver. Gasps rise from the guests. Mai's camera tilts to catch the glittering drops. Tu Tieu laughs first. Looks like the sky wants to celebrate. Uri shifts so the baby won't get wet and grins. Then let it in. They pull the table half a step back, tuck the 5 fruit trays deeper under the eaves, and keep going. No panic, no pause. Lanterns glow warmer against the gray. The baby blinks at the rain and clasps a fist around the red thread bracelet on his wrist, as if it's a secret he understands. The camera breathes closer. The moment is messy and perfect, and everyone knows it. Cut to morning. Mist lifted slowly and kind over the fields. On the kitchen table, a bold marker shot list. Open door, 5 fruit, first incense, family bowl, firecrackers, night cheers. In the margin, Mai had scribbled the niche line they'd agreed on for the village series. Home keeps its promises. Uri came in with oranges and a power strip slung over his shoulder. Insurance, he said, setting the strip down. If the lights get stubborn? The lights love us, Tu Tieu answered, shouldering open the window to let rice paddy air in. They moved like partners who trusted the day. He rinsed fruit. She trimmed stems. He leveled the gimbal. She taped a peach blossom cutout above the altar. Their fingers met over a spool of red thread and lingered a heartbeat too long. No apology, just a small truth exchanged. You slept? She asked. Enough. Uri gave a tilted smile. Egan filed. Hawk is out. Designs locked. Clean slate. Say it to him, she murmured, glancing at the baby. Uri leaned close to the basket. Clean slate. Clean year. By mid-morning, the yard had turned festive. Red couplets pressed smoothly against bamboo. The 5 fruit trays shone with pomelo, banana, custard apple, sapodilla, and persimmon. Aunties arrived with jokes and mandarin branches. Uncles argued about lantern height, because someone always must. First Tet is 3, an auntie sang, pinching the baby's foot. Make it loud so that Luck can hear. Be yourselves, Mai called from behind the lens. We can only sell the truth. That's the niche. They cycled through the plan. Doors open, incense ready, bowls aligned. At the market, they traded papayas for peanut candy and the last packet of gold carp lucky envelopes. Vendors called them mother and father, like it had always been. A boy insisted 2 sparklers would make stars in the shot. Uri bought them. Cameras love light. Clouds feathered in around noon, thin, harmless. A blessing, someone said, chin at the ridge, then clear. Back home, they blocked the beats inside. Close on hand, smoothing red cloth, cut to the baby sleeping in his basket. Rack focus to the jaw stick. Your line here, Mai prompted. Uri looked at the two people who made the house feel larger than its walls. Tonight, we film a life we can keep tomorrow, he said, like it was a vow. Back to evening. The rain chose steady over cruel. It burnished fruit and wood and skin until the camera swallowed color like honey. It's grating for us, Mai whispered, thrilled. Then we won't waste it, Tu Tieu said. They adapted in the easy, practiced way of village families who have rescued 100 holidays from weather. Mats slid under the best dry beam. The 5 fruit trays earned a new angle. Uri lifted the firecrackers beneath the eaves where smoke could curl outward. Laughter ran in threads between adjustments. The baby woke, listening more than fussing. He watched his parents pass bowls and check boxes off the shot list with wet thumbs. Uri tasted the fruit yogurt and made a face. More honey. You and your luck, Tu Tieu teased, but she gave him half a spoon anyway. Dusk came sooner, softened by the rain. Lanterns hung low and warm. Fairy lights hummed. Uri lit the first jaw stick. Smoke twined with the weather's breath. For our ancestors, he said. For a year with a door that stays open, she answered, voice even and sure. Children outside chased a paper dragon, yelps ricocheting through the lane. The baby startled, settled when Uri's hand found his back. He likes the rain, Uri said. He likes you. Tu Tieu replied simply, unshowy, heavier than a vow. They stepped to the veranda for the firecrackers. Rain beaded on the red tubes. Uri dried the fuse with a napkin. Mai framed tight. Safe distance. Catch the first flare, then whip to their faces, she said, rolling. Count us. Tu Tieu nodded. 3, Uri breathed, spark catching. 2. The flame steadied. 1. A wind gust stooped under the eaves, threw a silver veil across the yard. The fuse fizzed bravely, then sighed out. Nobody swore, nobody sulked. They laughed like people who had already chosen joy. A neighbor clapped. An auntie waved the fuse with a fan, as if blessing it might coax luck. Again, someone called. Uri shook the lighter dry, but paused. The rain sang harder on the roof, 1,000 fingers. Out on the lane, a motorbike coughed, then idled. Footsteps rushed to the doorway of the workshop foreman, rainwater running off his jacket and sheets. He didn't step in. He respected thresholds even now. Uri, he said, voice tight, eyes apologetic. Bay 3's gutter is choking. If the rain thickens, it'll flood the crates. The prototypes. Mai didn't cut it. The lens held both truths at once. The first new year is 3, and the work that kept rice in their bowls. The guests fell quiet without being told. The baby made a small sound, then went still again, as if he too was waiting to see what love would look like. Tu Tieu reads Uri's face the way she reads the weather. She adjusted the baby higher on her shoulder and met Uri's eyes. Finish the incense with us, she said, steady as a bell. Then go keep what you built. The foreman nodded. 30 seconds. Lanterns swayed. Somewhere down the lane, a whoop rose just for the pleasure of noise. Uri lifted the jaw stick again, flame blooming clean and obedient. He turned to the altar with square shoulders and sure hands. Say it, Mai whispered. Uri looked at the rain, at the lens, at the 2 hearts inside his house. Our home keeps its promises. Thunder rolled far off, coming closer. The year waited on the step. The foreman's words hang in the doorway. Rain drums harder. Lanterns sway on their cords. Uri looks at Tu Tieu, at the baby, at the altar flame that holds. He nods once, not to flee, but to fulfill. "I'll be quick," he says. "You'll be right," Tu Tieu answers. And in that single beat, they both smile because the choice already feels like them. Uri squeezes her fingers, touches the baby's tiny wrist where the red thread rests, then jogs into the rain beside the foreman. The motorbike snaps forward. Tail light red, road silver, roofs beating like drums. Mai keeps rolling. She doesn't chase. She frames what stays. "We'll intercut," she whispers, mostly to herself. "Run and root. The niche is the truth." Inside, the guests move like a practice troupe. Aunties slide the mats farther from the drip line. Uncles angle the table to keep the 5 fruit trays bright. A neighbor boy fetches a second thermos. Laughter returns in small stitches. Someone jokes that the firecrackers fear the baby's beauty. Someone else swears the rain is just nosy. Tu Tieu breathes once, deep and slow. "We keep filming," she tells Mai. "But we don't pretend he didn't leave." "We don't," Mai says. "We will show you are waiting well." They set for a quiet sequence. Tu Tieu sits near the altar, baby upright against her shoulder, cheek to cheek. She hums the tune her mother taught her. The camera details the water line inching down the veranda step, the flame bending and then standing again. The way the baby's fingers explore the peach blossom cutout, surprised by paper pretending to be a flower. A guest passes the roses from earlier across the room. Tu Tieu tucks them into a tall jar and places them by the custody paper. A still life of promise. Cut to Uri. Though the camera isn't there, we can feel him. He and the foreman slide the workshop gate wide, shove against a stubborn roller, splash through a shallow river of roof leak. "Gutter first!" the foreman shouts. They clatter up the side stairs. Under the eaves, leaves and twigs choke the channel. Uri digs with bare hands. Water surges past his wrist, then his elbow, finally breaks free in a cold sheet that leaps away from the wall. Below, a crate thumps as pooled water releases. "Crates up on blocks," Uri calls, and the crew appears from the dark like a team pulled by the same rope, 2 at each corner. Heave, set, check. Prototype 2 and Bay B. Copy. Egan's report sent. Lock fasteners. Done. Back at the house, Mai inches to the doorway and frames a tableau the sky is gifting. Rain bouncing from the veranda stone like sparks reversed. Lantern light turning puddles into little moons. The baby's reflection, upside down and curious. "Hold," she whispers, and the shot holds. The music outside rises again, and someone restarts the speaker with a village New Year song. A chorus of kids yells when the paper dragon slips under a fence and pops out triumphant. The baby startles, then laughs a quick silver sound that changes the room. An auntie claps. "There," she says, "luck heard." Footsteps rush the lane. Uri returns, shirt plastered dark, hair streaming, eyes bright with the kind of relief that feels like strength. He stands a second at the threshold, not stepping on the mat until his breath finds its even. Then he enters, bows his head once toward the altar, and comes straight to them. "Bay 3's clear," he reports, voice gentle, meant for a house. "Crates dry. Designs are safe. We locked everything and left men to watch." The foreman says, "If the rain keeps like this, we're fine." "Good," Tu Tieu says, and her shoulders drop in the smallest, truest exhale. She looks at Mai. "Get his hands." Mai is already there tight on Uri's fingers as they lift the baby from her shoulder. Careful, sure. The lens finds the red thread bracelet, the water on his knuckles, the easy way the baby recognizes the touch and settles. We didn't cut, Mai tells him softly. We let the sky right in the middle. Uri smiles at that, then let it finish the scene. He turns to the guests. Thank you for keeping our home warm, he says. Not loud, but everyone hears. We'll try the firecrackers again under the eaves. If they won't go, we'll do sparklers and call it the year's joke. The room answers with approval. Someone produces a fan to shelter the fuse. Someone else offers a metal tray to catch stray pop. Uri dries the line with a cloth. Tu Tieu stands at his shoulder, baby in her arms, close enough that their elbows almost touch. Count us, she says again, that playful challenge back where it belongs. Uri grins. 3. He sparks the lighter. It flares. 2. The fuse takes, spits, fights. 1. This time it lives small at first, then racing, then bursting in a string of bright reports that crack and bloom without anger, just joy. Smoke threads outward into the wet night. The baby blinks, then bursts into delighted hiccup laughs that start other laughs, which start others, until the whole veranda feels like it's breathing together. Faces, Mai calls, and whips to them Uri's grin, open and boyish. Tu Tieu's eyes wet and shining, the baby a little star between them. They move inside for the last beats. Bowls set. First sip. A lucky money envelope slipped beneath the baby's palm. Uri raises a cup to the room. To the year that kept us honest, he says, to work that feeds us and love that teaches us why. To rain that shot, Mai adds, earning a round of applause she pretends to hide from. The final sequence is simple. The 3 of them at the threshold, just under the eaves, listening to the night. The rain softens to a hush. Somewhere, a distant firework stutters light behind the clouds. Uri lifts the sparklers the market boy swore by. He touches flame to tip. They burst into clean stars. He hands one to Tu Tieu, and for a moment the 2 sparks arc toward each other, white and patient. The baby watches, solemn and amazed. What's our wish? Uri asks. That when we show the world our life, she says, steady as a line they've rehearsed and then learned by living. The life we show is the one we keep. They hold the sparklers together until the last brightness fades. The roof ticks as rain loosens. A gap opens in the clouds, small but certain, and 2 real stars appear, answering the pretend ones they just held. Mai lowers the camera. Cut, she whispers, reverent. On the table, the red envelopes, the 5 fruit trays, and a folded copy of the custody paper share the same frame. The roses lean toward the window. Outside, gutters run clear. The sky has the last line, but it doesn't steal it. It simply lets them keep what they said.
Mưa xuân kể về Tết đầu tiên của Tử Tiêu và Uri với em bé của họ được quay như một phần của ngôi làng quảng cáo Nietzsche được xây dựng dựa trên sự thật. Buổi sáng chuẩn bị trôi chảy với những câu đối đỏ, một mâm ngũ quả sáng chói và vũ đạo nhẹ nhàng cho máy quay của Mai. Đến tối, mưa đến giữa kỷ niệm, thay vì dừng lại họ điều chỉnh lại việc di chuyển bàn, che đèn giữ cho phước lành sống động. Một cảnh báo sớm đột ngột buộc Uri phải lựa chọn. Anh ấy thắp xong nhang, sau đó chạy đến dọn sạch máng nước bị ngập, bảo vệ các nguyên mẫu, cộng đồng giữ nhà với Tử Tiêu, trong khi Mai ghi lại những chi tiết yên tĩnh, chân thực. Uri trả lại những thiết kế ướt sũng nhưng tươi cười, an toàn. Ngôi nhà vững chắc, họ thử đốt pháo một lần nữa, niềm vui bùng nổ dưới mái hiên và pháo hoa kết thúc trong đêm. Câu nói của họ, nhà của chúng ta, giữ lời hứa, chứng tỏ sự thật, tình yêu, công việc và gia đình cùng chia sẻ một khung hình, và cơn mưa xuân trở thành một phần câu chuyện thay vì kết thúc của nó.